Good day, students. Okay, we're now going to look at an operation we do in algebra frequently called expanding brackets. So we'll start by just looking at a couple of mental multiplications. So if students are taught how to multiply things like 5 times 76 in their head, here's one of the common ways that they're taught to do it. Oops, better get my pen tool. So what they do is they think of 76 as being 70 plus 6. And then to multiply in your head, you think 5 times 70. Well, 5 times 7 is 35, so that's 350. And the 5 times the 6 is 30. And the answer is 380. Now look at what we did to get that. We split the 76 into 70 plus 6, and then we multiplied the 5 by both the 70 and by the 6 to get that expression there. And that's an example of what's called expanding brackets, but using numbers rather than algebra. Okay, if you're asked to do this one in your head, it will be pretty hard to do doing it the same way you do with paper and pencil. But if you think of 99 as being 100 subtract 1, well, once again, that's really 24 times 100 is 2400, or 2400, minus, and 24 times 1 is 24. And I can do that in my head. If I take 20 away from that, it's 2,380. Take away another 4, it's 2,376. And once again, what I've done is I've multiplied the 24 times the 100, sorry, and the 24 times the 1 and subtractions in between. Now let's go ahead and do something similar with algebra. Okay, in this problem, I've got 2 trays, each with 3 large cups and 2 extra beans. So there's a tray just there, and there's a second tray just there. In fact, I'll even draw the trays in. You got to have your trays. So there's the tray, and there's the tray. Okay, how many beans do I have altogether? I'm going to write the answer to this in 2 different ways. So one way to think of it is to say, well, I've got 2 groups, and each group contains 3 cups, each with Y beans in it. So 3 Y beans plus 2 extra beans. So if I think of them as being in groups, it's 2 groups of, or 2 lots of 3Y plus 2. The other way to think of it is to just say, well, I've got 6 cups altogether. Those 6 cups contain 6 Y beans, and I've got 4 extra beans. And changing an expression from that form to that form is called expanding. And again, what I want you to notice here that I can get this answer by saying 2 times 3y is 6y, and also 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Okay, this time I have 3 trays, each containing 2 cups with Y beans in each, and 4 extra beans. I'm going to bring my 3 trays down. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. How many beans do I have altogether? Well, again, I'm going to first write it in groups. So I've got 3 groups, and each group contains 2Y plus 4 beans. That's 2 cups, each containing Y beans plus 4 extra beans. Alternatively, you could sort of say, well, I've got, once again, 6 cups altogether, and 4, 8, 12. I also have 12 extra beans. So one way to write the number of beans there is 3 outside of 2y plus 4 in brackets, or the other way to write it is 6y plus 12. And once again, what I want you to notice is we can get that 6y by multiplying 3 times 2y, and we can get the 12 by multiplying 3 times 4. And that is going to give us the basic idea of expanding algebraic expressions. So if we have an expression that has a number outside, or could be a letter, so it's got a term outside, multiplied by something in brackets, where you're adding or subtracting some terms inside the brackets, that's called the factored form, because factors means you're multiplying. I'm multiplying 2 times all of y plus 3. And that has exactly the same meaning. It looks different, but the same value as 2y plus 6 without brackets. And once again, 2 times y gives us the 2y, 2 times 3 gives us the 6. And when we change from what's called factored form to what's called expanded form, that operation is called expanding. So it's 2 different ways of writing effectively the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and expand each of these. Now I strongly suggest that when you're doing this, you actually draw the little arcs to remember. Most common mistake that students make is they go 2 times 4y is 8y. So they get that bit correct, but then they just write plus 5 on the end. They forget they've got to multiply the 2 times all of that. And 2 times 5 is 10. I might go back to my gold color. Subtraction, here's a situation where it doesn't really benefit you to change that to add the negative, so keep it as a subtraction. You can change to add the negative if you wish. 3 times z is 3z minus, so just keep the minus there. And 3 times 4 is 12. And once again, there's no benefit in changing these to add the negative. 6 times 7h, well, 6 times 7 is 42. So that's 42h minus, I have to copy that operation. Excuse me, 6 times 3k is 18k. Once again, we copy the minus, and 6 times 4 is 24. So that's the factored form, or the factorized form, and that's the expanded form. Okay, you have a go at these 4, please. So stop the video, get out a piece of paper or your exercise book, and expand each of these, please. Okay, welcome back. Let's see how you went. Again, I strongly suggest you draw the little arcs to remind yourself you multiply the 3 by all of what's in the brackets. So 3 times 6z is 18z plus 3 times 6 is 18. Just remember, by the way, that we can't make this any simpler. We can only add and subtract like terms. This term has the variable z, and this one doesn't, so we have to leave it like that. Occasionally, when you're working with algebra, you end up with a factor of 1 outside some brackets. Well, 1 times anything is just itself, so that just becomes 1 times 3y, 1 times 9z, and 1 times 3. So effectively, it's just the expression inside the brackets. Okay, here we got a variable outside the brackets. Doesn't make any difference. We just do the same thing. 2a times 3a. Well, we learned how to multiply expressions or multiply terms in the last video. 2 times 3 is 6. A times a is best written as a squared. Write the subtraction. 2a times 4bq. Well, we can start by going 2 times 4 is 8. And we've got a times b times q. So we write those in alphabetical order. Write the plus sign. And 2a times 2c. Well, 2 times 2. I better put my little arcs. And 2 times 2 is 4. And a times c is ac. And the last one. Now, because I've got a negative sign there, it probably would help you to write that as plus negative. At some stage you stop doing that, but when you're first learning algebra, it's not a good idea, not a bad idea, sorry, to keep writing every subtraction as plus negative unless it's situations like that where you're not going to get the question wrong if you don't. Okay, negative 6b times 3a. Multiply the numbers first. Negative 18, and we don't write BA, we write in alphabetical order, AB. Write the plus sign. And negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. And because we changed it to plus negative, it's less likely you're going to make a mistake on that. And b times b is b squared. And plus negative 6b times 4c. Well, negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. And b times c is just bc. So you can leave it like that. If you don't like leaving things as plus negatives, then you can write one more line of setting out, just copying the rest of it. And you can change that back to subtract 24bc. Okay, I might stop there. That's in about 11 minutes, a bit over 11 minutes already. And then we'll do the rest of this in a separate video.